Hey guys, today we're going to talk about making your bike tubeless. Now, I've made a tubeless video in the past, but I just really wasn't happy with it, and so it never saw the light of day. And being so, I just kind of forgot about it. But in lurking around Reddit, I do see the question come up a lot about tubeless, and mainly that question is, how hard is it to make a tubeless conversion, and is it worth it? In my opinion, yes, it is definitely well worth it. And to the point of how difficult it is, well, it's not that difficult. And today I'm going to try and do my best to show you how to do it from start to finish, as if you have a brand new rim with no rim tape, starting from there, going all the way to mounting the tire. So let's get started. To reiterate, this video is about making a tubeless conversion. If your wheels are tubeless ready, you should only have to install a tubeless valve stem. And for that, check the description for a timestamp that you can skip ahead to. For full conversion info, start here. Touching again on the difficulty, it's really not hard to do. It's just one of those things that if you've never done it before, it seems a bit daunting. But don't worry, you'd have to try really hard to damage any of your equipment in the process of making a tubeless conversion. So to start, you're going to need some tubeless rim tape, which comes in several different widths. Now, if your wheel manufacturer has a recommended tape width, get it and use it. When your rim maker doesn't recommend a specific width, you'll want to choose a narrower width rather than a wider width, or even a width that matches the inner width of your rim. See, if you get a rim tape that's too wide, you'll interfere with the seating of the tire, and if your tire bead isn't firmly set, you open yourself up to having a poor sealing tire all the way to having the higher chances of the tire burping or even just popping off the bead altogether. The inner width of my new rim is 31 millimeters. I do have 30 millimeter wide rim tape, and while a half a millimeter gap on each side likely won't cause any problems in terms of sealing, there's a very good chance of compromising the rim tape when I eventually remove the tire. And I don't want to replace rim tape every time I remove and replace a tire. Plus, the shape of my rim has a fairly deep trough in the center of the rim bed, so maybe a millimeter or two of that tape will be pulled down into the trough, thus making the tape even narrower in overall width. So I'm using what Noble sent me, which is 19 millimeters wide. Now, using Tonka logic, this tells me that you should be shooting for a rim tape that's about 60% of your inner rim width. And because of this, we'll be making 3 passes in total to ensure a solid seal. One on the left side of the rim, then one on the right side of the rim, and then a pass down the center. Noble claims this method has given them excellent results, and my experience confirms this claim. So here we go. Start off with thoroughly cleaning the inside of the rim. And if you remove tape, be sure to get all the adhesive residue off. Get some acetone or high quality alcohol, not this 70% stuff, to help you remove all the adhesive. And once it's clean, make one final wipe down with a light solvent on a lint-free cloth. Once you do that final wipe down, be sure not to touch the inside of the rim with your bare hands, as having a clean inner rim surface is just as important as any other aspect of a tubeless conversion. So don't sleep on the cleaning. Now, I probably put too much thought into this, but if the valve hole is at the 12 o'clock spot on the rim, I start the rim tape at about 3 o'clock. I do this because I'll have 3 areas where there is double tape, and I'm trying to balance the extra fraction of a gram on the opposite side of the valve stem. So once you get a few inches of tape in place, pull out about 8 inches. While you keep tension on that 8 inches of tape, start laying it down and pulling your fingers behind it. I keep my eyes on the area of tape that's about to make contact with the rim and adjust the placement as necessary so that I keep the edge of the tape right up against the edge of the rim. Once you make a full rotation, overlap the tape a good 6 inches or so. Then pull the tape over to the opposite side of the rim and repeat the process. Once you make the second overlap of 6 inches, you move the tape to the center of the rim for the final pass. It's as if the first 2 passes are like the latch and handle lock on a door. This final pass is like the deadbolt. It makes sure that the sealant stays on the tire side of the tape. This task seems pretty straightforward, and for the most part it is. I use a pick that's been heated up to make a hole in the rim tape for the valve stem. I first press on the valve hole to make an impression that I can see in the tape. That way I know right where the center of the hole is. I try not to make the hole any larger than necessary because I want the rubber of the valve stem to be resting only on the rim tape. So once you have the hole in the tape, you just insert the valve stem, put on the rubber O-ring, and then screw down the nut. But here's the trade secret that you only find on the dark web, and now here, I guess. You just don't crank on the nut to pull the valve stem down. You press on the backside of the valve stem and just hand tighten the nut. What you don't want is that O-ring squishing outside of the nut. That means it's too tight. Alright, we're on the final stretch. It's all downhill from here. There's only about 5 more minutes of mellow climbing before we descend. And that's not Mountainese talk either, because seating the tire bead is much easier than most people make it out to be. And if this is your first conversion, your tire bead is going to be nice and clean, free from sealant. But if you're installing a tire that's been in tubeless before, you've got one more cleaning step before you can install, and that is just to get as much of the sealant off of the bead of the tire as possible. A light solvent should help, but many times you can just peel off the old sealant with your hands. If not, get a scrubby towel, wet it with alcohol, and scrub away on the bead. These are the 2 places that it touches the rim, right on the outside and right on the bottom. So if you get those clean, you make a nice tight seal on the rim, you keep all your sealant, you keep all your air. Once clean, be sure to check the direction of the tire before mounting it. There's nothing worse than finding out your tire's on backwards after you mounted it and added sealant to it. Well, that is unless you've put a cush core in there too, and yes, I have unfortunately done that. The tire goes on one side at a time, just as if you were going to install it with an inner tube. The thing that makes your life easy is getting and keeping the bead of the tire in the trough of the rim bed. Once you do this, getting the rest of the bead over the rim edge is much easier. Then you just do the same thing for the other side of the tire. But before you start with the other side, if you're so inclined, line up the valve stem with the tire logo. And again, be sure to get as much of both tire beads into the rim trough so that getting the other side of the tire over the rim edge is as easy as possible. Once the tire is mounted, you can do some final situating to get the tire logo where you want it. And you can try to attach a pump and see if it'll start filling, but I find if you manipulate the tire like this in an effort to lift both beads out of the rim trough as much as possible, the odds of it filling are much, much better. And you can see here the tire tread is starting to stick down as I lift my thumbs up. That's a slight vacuum starting from the tire starting to seal. It shouldn't take more than 20 psi or so to seat the tire. I think the max you should ever inflate a tire to while trying to seat it is 40 psi, which is way higher than it's ever taken me. Personally, if it's not seated by 30 psi, I think I'd deflate it and add in the optional step of spraying the edges of the rim and tire with soapy water, which is really more like water with a drop of soap in it, meaning very little soap is needed. In fact, just misting a little bit of water on it may be enough to help it along. But just hearing the tire pop onto the edge of the rim doesn't mean it's absolutely seated. The key to knowing if the tire is fully seated is by checking the distance between a line on the tire and the edge of the rim. If the distance between that line and the edge of the rim is more or less equal all the way around, it's seated. If not, you'll have to add more air. Just don't run the PSI way high when you're doing it. I'm sure some of you are saying, bro, you forgot the sealant. And you're right, I could have easily enough added the sealant before putting the tire fully on the wheel. But I find it easier and cleaner to do it after the tire has been fully seated. All you'll need is the little syringe and the hose that Stan sells, or you just get one of the bottles that has this tip that fits just inside the valve stem once the valve core is removed. Speaking of the valve core, if it is still in the valve, you'll need to remove it now. Once you do that, you set the valve stem at 12 o'clock. Then, press the tip of the bottle against the open end of the valve stem. And while doing that, rotate the wheel so that the valve stem's now at 6 o'clock. Now, if you don't have one of these fancy wheel benches, you have a few options. You can mount the wheel to a bike, put the bike in a bike stand, and use the axle to rotate the wheel on. And if you don't have that, you can just set the wheel on a bench or on the ground and do the same thing. Once you have the valve stem and the nozzle at 6 o'clock, slowly squeeze the contents into the tire, but don't squeeze too fast, but do it multiple times to ensure you get all the contents out. As a rule of thumb, you put about 4 ounces of sealant in each tire. Before removing the nozzle, rotate the wheel back to its starting position where the valve stem is at 12 o'clock, and have a rag ready to catch any drops of sealant that may fall as you remove the nozzle. I actually roll up a little bit of paper towel and stick it inside the valve stem to get any residual sealant out of there before I replace the valve core. So once you do all that, you just refill the tire with air. I generally fill the tire to about 30 psi and then do the little sealant dance. And I leave it at 30 psi overnight. That way, when I walk by it in the garage the next morning, I can just give it a feel and see if it's lost any air. Look at that, we're done. Piece of cake, right? Of course it was. I hope you find this video helpful, and if you want to see any other DIY stuff, give this video a like and let me know what other DIY stuff you want to see in the comments. Until next time, keep the tires sealed, and thanks for watching.